Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to Akim and Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligent. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And slack you ahead of time for the congestion. It's just going through the whole thing with this, whatever this virus was, man. Just didn't have any of that before. Now it's just draining. So it's just running its course. Lord willing, we'll be back to normal soon. So this one's titled, Israel is a nation known for being rebellious and stubborn. Okay, once again, Israel is a nation known for being rebellious and stubborn. All right, and of course, Israel is referring to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as we are called today. All right, and we'll go ahead and pull up the 12 tribes chart. It's right here. So this is the 12 tribes of Israel as they are known today. All right, starting with the top, Southern Kingdom. Judah are the so-called Negroes. Benjamin are the so-called West Indians. Levi are the so-called Haitians. All right, Northern Kingdom. Simeon, the so-called Dominicans. Zebulon, the so-called Guatemalans, the Panamanians. Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, the so-called Cubans. Gad, the so-called North American Indians. Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians. Naphtali, the so-called Argentinians, the Chileans. Asher, the so-called Colombians, the Uruguayans. And Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, right? So those are the 12 tribes of Israel as we are, all right? These are as we, and this is as we are called today. Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Mexicans, Islanders, right? Haitians, Negroes, all right, or black. All right, brown. All right, if we have to just go by, well, they don't usually like referring, these nations they would call brown, but they don't like these nations calling themselves brown, even though they're brown as well. It's just funny that Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, or Judah, Benjamin, and Levi can be just as dark as Manasseh, and Manasseh, it's okay if they're called brown, but it's not okay if Judah calls himself brown. You're not brown, you're black. Nobody on this list is black. Okay, nobody's black. Okay, they're brown, very some of them very dark brown. There's some very dark brown Cubans out there. Of course, very dark, so-called black people, so-called Negroes, right? But none of them are black. All right, my computer, the frame of my computer is black. All right, my mouse that I'm using to, get across the screen is black. All right, my microphone is black. This back of this page is a form of black. Ain't nobody walking around like that color. You can say they're very, very dark, but they're still brown. They're not this color. They're still brown. Okay? So, those are the tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And you may not necessarily look like those people, all right, and still end up going back to them. All right, you could look like a so-called white person and still go back to, the tribe of Judah, all right, which would be a so-called Negro. So, and that's really a topic for another day. So that's Israel. Okay, so those people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right, Israelites, are known for being rebellious and stubborn. As the title says, Israel is a nation known for being rebellious and stubborn, and our people are. And you can look at them and see that they're the fucking most stubborn people out there. Okay, they don't want to learn. They don't want to change. All right, they're set in their ways. Okay, and hey, that's ultimately what got us in this position in the first place. All right, in curses, because we didn't want to listen to the Lord. Okay, that's why we're in the situation that we're in now, because we did not want to listen to the Lord. Okay, He told us what to do. We did the complete opposite. All right, and that's why we're in this state that we're in now. All right, as Israelites, because we did not listen. Okay, and Jake won't learn. All right, Jake doesn't ever learn their lesson. Okay. That's why the Lord's got to come back and kill off the 2/3. It's the only way it'll work, because they won't learn. They will not learn their lesson here. Okay, they will not learn. Okay, they're going to have to be completely reborn in the kingdom under the elect, because they just will not learn their lesson. Now the elect will learn. All right, they'll wake up and turn back to who they are. Okay, but these 2/3, man, there's no convincing them. Okay, and it's just because it's not for them. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first scripture of this lesson. All right, it's Hosea 4:16. It says, "For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer," and a heifer is a cow, right? It says, "Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place." Okay, so there you go. So Israel's a backsliding people. We're referred to that quite a bit throughout the Bible as backsliding. What is backsliding? What does it say?
Backsliding.
The action of relapsing into bad ways or error. You do something right, and then you're backsliding. Going right back into what you were doing, man. Right back into what you were doing. You tried to change, and whoop, right back down. Look at this. It's got the slide. Okay, here you were. You trying to do something, and then you just slid right on back and all the way back down, man. Okay, and that's exactly how Israel is, man. Okay, they're backsliding children, as we've been referred to as well. And bear with me one moment. My nose is driving me crazy. One moment. All right, we're back. Slocky, there might be a few stops we have to make. All right, to fix my nose up here. So, that's what backsliding is falling back. All right, to your old ways. Now, I'm curious. What it has to say in the blue letter. Says slideth back. Yeah, those are both the same word. So slideth back. Serar. Let's see what it means.
Strong's H 5637. Sarer.
All right, you heard him say it. Rebellious, stubborn, revolters, revolting, slide back, backslide away, withdrew. Right there. To rebel, to be stubborn, to be rebellious, to be refractory, and that's great. To be rebellious and stubborn, to rebel, to be stubborn, both of them right there. To be stubborn and to rebel. Okay, that's exactly what it means. To rebel and to be stubborn, and that's what Jake, all right, Israel likes to do. They like to rebel and be stubborn. Being stubborn is part of rebellion. Okay? So let's get this in the Good News Translation, because I had it highlighted for that, and it can make it a little bit more plain if you're not understanding what it's talking about. Hosea 4:16, and I actually like this definition a lot. It says, this version, all right, Good News Translation version. It says, Hosea 4:16, "The people of Israel are as stubborn as mules. How can I feed them like lambs in a meadow?" All right, because they're stubborn. Our people are stubborn. All right, it says stubborn as mules. And a mule is an ass. All right, but it's a heifer. If you look that up, a heifer is a female that has not had any offspring. It's a cow, generally. But I guess it can be used to refer to, I've always heard of it as a cow. So, I'm not sure why they said mule. They say stubborn mules, but a heifer is really, is a cow. Let's see what else we got here. Israel's stubborn like a stubborn heifer. What about the New Life version? This one's pretty good. Hosea 4:16. "The people of Israel are strong-willed like a young cow. How then can the Lord feed them like a lamb in a large field? Okay, and strong-willed. What is strong-willed? That really goes back to that stubbornness. Stubborn is a mule, mulish, right? Self-willed, inflexible, right? Headstrong. Refractory. What does that mean?
Refractory.
Stubborn or unmanageable. All right, bullheaded. Okay, I like this one actually better. This is the best one because that word heifer is referring to a cow. It's not referring to a mule. I like the Good News Translation still, but that really should be talking about a cow. That's what a heifer is. So the people of Israel are strong-willed like a young cow. How then can the Lord feed them like a lamb in a large field? Okay, because Israel is very, very stubborn people. All right, they don't want to hear, they don't want to learn. All right, they want to do what they want when they want, All right, whenever they want. We did a lesson about this a while ago called the "Do Whatever I Want" demon. All right, or the "Do Whatever I Want" spirit, something along those lines. Bear with me, I'll grab a drink. So, you know, these people are just they want to do whatever they want whenever they want, right? That's what they like to do. It's their favorite pastime, is being rebellious. Okay, we're gonna go down here. We're gonna grab Exodus 3 and verse 9, and they make songs about, songs about rebellion. Let's go see. I'm curious. Songs about being rebellious. A lot of punk songs, I'm sure. Let's see. Fight the power. Where's some good songs for teenage rebellion, man? It's ridiculous. A lot of white people. That's where that spirit comes from, really, is that rebellious spirit. That's not something that should be innate in our nature, but yet here it is. Okay? Because, hey, Jake wants to be, like a people who they are not. This is Exodus 32 and 9. It says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people." And we can actually read up. We can go to 7 and read down to 9. It says in verse 7, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I had commanded them. They have made them a molten calf." Moses was literally talking to the Lord and coming down with the commandments, and Israel had already fucked up and had been, making a golden calf. I mean, come on, man. That's Israel for you, man. Rebellious. Okay, and not thankful for nothing, man. For nothing. Not thankful for nothing. The Lord gives you food, and no, the food was better in Egypt, and then He gives you. Look, man. That's Israel. They're not thankful for nothing, man. Exodus 32 and 8 says, "They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I had commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." What a bunch of idiots. What a bunch of idiots. All right? That's us. That's us. That's our people right there. What a bunch of idiots. Here it is. The Lord delivered you out of Egypt, and now these are our gods. A fucking golden cow, man. Come on now. Verse 9. "And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people." What was he going to do? Exodus 32 and 10. "Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation." And Moses besought the Lord his power, and said, "Lord, why doth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, For mischief did he bring them out, and slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people." And then it continues on. Okay, and it continues on. So, the Lord was literally just going to destroy us all and be like, we're done. We're done. He was going to do the same thing with, in the days of Noah, or Noe at the time, and just destroy everybody and say, that's it. Cool. And done with that one. All right, because all we have done repeatedly, all right, Israel is repeat offenders of being rebellion and stubborn. The Lord says go right, you go left. All right, He says to jump, you sit down. He says to sit up, or you sit down. And He says to sit down, you stand up. He says to drink water, you drink tea or something, or something else. You drink juice. It's ridiculous. He says to cut your hair, you grow it out. He says to grow your hair to a normal length, and you buzz it bald. Every way you go, you are constantly, ducking and diving. The Lord's what the Lord wants. Because you're rebellious, man. You're stubborn. And that's our people. That is our people. So, you know, and we have the commandments. And what do people do? Do people follow them? No. They go and make whole doctrines about, oh, the law is done away with. The law is done away with. The law is done away with, when it's not. But that's what they do. Because they don't want to be under the law. They didn't like being under the law back then. And they sure don't like being under the law now. Okay? Because they're rebellious. They're stubborn. And they want nothing to do with it. Really, they want nothing to do with the Lord. Alright. So let's go and get, seeing where that was going. I'll grab one of these cough drops. Alright. So, bear with me just one moment. Grabbing some of this eucalyptus oil. Whew. It's a little bit better. Alright. So, Psalms 78 and 8 says, I gotta actually read up a little bit. We'll go from 5. It says, for he... Yeah, this will work. Psalm 75 and 8, or 78 and 5. Dyslexia. Psalm 78 and 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. Why? Did it not just stop with the fathers? I thought it was just the fathers that were under the commandment. That was it, right? That was the law. That was just them that was given the commandments. Nope. It was for Israel as a whole, not just those people that were there. All right, to receive the law from Yahweh by tablets given and brought down by Moses. Okay. So it wasn't just for them, it was for them and their descendants. That's the word I was looking for, descendants. Okay. So it says, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, because we're under those laws as well. Verse 6, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. So you're gonna have children, and you're gonna tell them those things, and then your children are gonna grow up, and they're gonna tell their children those things, right? That verse 7, that they might set their hope in Yahweh and not forget the works of Yahweh, but keep His commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with Yahweh. Okay, there you go. And that's we'll continue on a little bit down. It says, the children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of Yahweh, and refused to walk in His law, and forgot His works and His wonders that He had showed them. There you go. So that's Israel, man. You can just and that's Israel. You try to tell them they're Israelites. I'm not an Israelite. I ain't from Israel. I'm black. Oh yeah. Where's the land of black? Where's that at? It's dumb. They got fried chicken in the land of black. Like that. Say what one more time? They speak English and what? Fucking Pulp Fiction. Where's the land of black? Where is it? Does it exist? No, there's no land of black, so you can't be black. Okay? If you're from England, you are English. If you're from Russia, you are Russian. How are you black? Are you from Blackia? All right, where is that? I've never heard of it. Show me it on a map. It doesn't make sense. You're not black. All right? You're from Israel, which would make you a Israelite. There you go. Round of applause, little buddy. There you go. You're from Israel. You're an Israelite. You're not black. All right? Even the white people, what do they call them? They call them, oh yeah, they're just Europeans. They're Europeans. They have European roots. But they just call you African. You're not African. All right, have you stopped and just thought and just looked at the two? Let's go over there. Jake don't look like this, man. Okay. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. No, they don't have this fucking face, man. They don't have that look like that. Let's try to find it with the features. Because there are Jake over there, and they might be showing us some West Africans, and we're not talking about West Africans because a lot of West Africans are Jake. All right. Let's see. We gotta find one. Because a lot of these are West Africans that they're showing. This one right here is a great example. You can see it in the eyes. You can see it in the nose. Africans' nose, those Hamite noses are completely different than our people. I'm trying to find a good example that's not super small. Yeah, if you look up West African, you're just going to see a bunch of Jakes. You know, that's what you're going to see. You're just going to see a bunch of Israelites, really, for the most part. Because that's what West Africans are. You know, Ghana and all that. You know. So these ones, you'd be like, those ones look just like us. Yeah, well, yeah, that looks like a so-called black woman because she's an Israelite. Yeah, she's an Israelite, all right? More than likely. So, but if you go to, like, let's see, East African. These people don't look like us, you know? And it's the heads, man, you know? Jake don't have heads like that. Jake does not have heads. These do not look like us. We don't look like that. Our people don't look like that, okay? It's not that we don't have those same features, okay? It's not something that our people share in common, okay? See? So what do you want about, man? Gotta be careful with those tribes. Got bush bitches walking around with their tits out and shit, so can't show all the pictures. But you know, you see, they don't look like our people at all. Okay, so why would you call yourself African? Okay, and generally a land doesn't look like two different people. So if you have one part of Africa that looks like this, and the other half's over here looking like this, you gotta ask yourself, there might be two different people over there. But a lot of people don't consider that. But a lot of there's a good chunk of Africa that's made up of Israelites, all right, like West Africa, and then there's a lot of there's a part of Africa that's made up of just Hamites, and then there's part that's just made up of Edomites, South Africa. So keep that in mind. So we're gonna move on to Psalms, not Psalms. Sorry, I was looking at Psalms up here. Isaiah 1:1 through 5. Alright, so Isaiah 1:1 reads, the vision of Isaiah, alright, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. And so, like, if I messed up any of those names, I'm not too familiar with pronunciations. It says, verse 2, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O Lord, or O earth, Slakia. Hear, verse 2, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Verse 4, ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, they have forsaken the Lord, they have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger, they are gone away backward. There's that backward again. That says verse 5, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt. There's that word again. Revolt. What does it mean to revolt?
Revolt.
Rise in rebellion, to rebel, right? Rebellion, revolution, insurrection, right? A mutiny, a riot, right? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. So that's Israel, man. That is Israel. That's how they act. All right, they're rebellious. All right, they're laden with iniquity. Iniquity is what? Sin upon sin. All right, stacking that sin up. And that's exactly what our people do. They do the most wicked shit that you could possibly think. They'll cook lobster and pork ass fat or something. It's just sin upon sin, and then they'll eat it after having sexual relationships with their friend's wife. Okay, there's just sin upon sin upon sin, and then when they're done, they'll smoke a cigarette to get it all down. And then light a blunt, and pop some pills, put a perk in her butt, right? It's fucking these lyrics, man. So that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what these people do. That's what these people do. And then these people are these 2/3, these in the world ass 2/3 Israelites that, don't have any care for the Lord. They don't have any care for their life. They don't have care for shit, really, other than just, no, I should take that back. They care for shit. That's all they care about. Drugs and unclean animals, all right, that they call food, all right, which isn't food. You're not supposed to be eating it. All right, they don't care for anything, man. They don't care for nothing. They can't listen. All right, they just can't do nothing. They can't do anything right. That's Jake. Can't do anything right. Even though here we are, a holy people, all right, a peculiar people of the Lord. And did Israel choose to go back to their roots? No. Israel's always worried about their roots, my roots. But they never go back to their Israelite roots. They want to go back to their Muslim roots, which they don't have roots in, or their African roots, which they don't have roots in, all right, or some other bullshit that they don't have roots in. I'm a Hindu. No, you're not. You might be weird enough. You might be weird enough that you might just be an Elamite. Okay, some of those people, some of those black dudes you see, and they're like, oh yeah, see, I'm into the Hindu stuff. You might just be an Elamite. Who knows? With all that shit, you don't know. All right, but some Jake just do it because they don't know who the hell they are. All right, and we read these scriptures and try, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bash Meow Shai, doing His work, which is His work is what's through His will is what's waking the Israelites up. He's waking the Israelites up. All right, and they don't want to hear what the Lord's doing. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. They're so focused on our roots, our culture, and you don't realize that your culture and your roots are in Israel. All right, through Yahweh Bash Meow Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, so you don't want to come back to Yahweh Bash Meow Shai. You want to go to one of these other weird gods, with weird names that don't make sense. Okay, you don't want Yahweh Bash Meow Shai. You want a slice of pizza and Luka Luka. That's who you want. And you make these idols for yourself, and you've been doing it since forever, man. In the calf, man, and so you can't, Jake just don't want to learn, man. Jake just don't want to learn. They don't want to hear it, and hey, that's the state of it. And bear with me 1 minute. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Ugh. Bear with me just a moment. Gotta adjust the chair. All right, so back on track. Talk while I'm getting this eucalyptus oil here. So Jake just don't want to learn. They don't want to listen. And the real reason that Jake, well, there's a couple reasons. The main reason is that Yahweh Bash Meow Shai is not dealing with him. Okay, and that's the main reason why they don't want to come into this truth. Bear with me. Is because the Lord doesn't want them in this truth. All right, and the other reason is that, is that when they hear about these things, and that's really through, the Most High rejecting them, is that it's too much work. It's too much work. There's not a lot of stuff that you have to do with a lot of these other religions. You don't have to keep a Sabbath with Christianity. You don't have to. There's not a dietary law. You really can't mess up. Unless you do something really big and bad, like killing someone, but then, So there's not a lot of stuff. You don't have to keep like a Passover. You don't have to keep a Day of Atonement. You don't have to do any of those things. You don't have to, you don't have to do any of those things. You don't have to pray constantly, and when you come, you don't have to change. You can still be that same old person, all right, that same old piece of shit you've always been. And when you come into this truth and you learn about this truth, you can't. All right, one of the first things you got to do, other than learning the name of the Father and the Son, is put off the old man and take on that new man, all right, as you're learning. And that's a lot of work. And you got to stop eating pork. You got to stop smoking. You got to stop using drugs. All right, you got to stop, that's a lot. That's a lot. It really is. It is a lot. Okay, when you first get into it, and at first it can feel overwhelming, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai, you can do it. But these people don't want to go through that. They don't want to have to stop eating pork. They don't want to have to stop eating sushi because it's uncooked and raw. They don't want to have to, put down their tobacco habits. They don't want to put down their weed habits. They don't want to, stop popping pills. They don't want to, stop committing adultery and, being, that same old person that they've been. They don't want to stop, having their dreadlocks and rapping. They want to rap still, and go to the club and hand out their mixtape, all right, and have their long dreads, all right, that are worshiping another god. They want to do those things. So when you tell them, oh, you can't have dreads, oh, you can't shave your beard, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't dye your hair, oh, you can't rap like that and try to make a living off of it. These people don't like that, man. They don't like hearing that. They it completely throws them aback, and they don't want to do it. All right, and then and to top that all off, you tell them that they can't eat pork, they can't eat shrimp, they can't eat lobster, they can't eat crab, they can't eat catfish, and then that pretty much sums it up. And then that really puts the nail in the coffin. They say, nah, I don't want none of that. Hell no. I've been doing that my whole life. I ain't changing now. No way. And that's Israel, man, because they're stubborn. All right, they're unwilling to move. They're stubborn. And they're, and they're rebellious. All right, the Lord told you not to do all those things, and yet you want to do them anyway, and you're not going to change your ways. Why? Because you're stubborn. So you're rebellious because you don't want to do it, and you're stubborn because you're not going to change. You don't want to change. All right, you don't want to change, and the Lord put that spirit on you, man, because He doesn't want you to change either, because He's rejected you. He's completely rejected you. You're not His. So, continuing on. Let's get Jeremiah. Jeremiah 5:20. And I don't want to say necessarily the Lord doesn't want you to change, because He wants everybody to, change. He wants everybody to, come back. He doesn't want to have to, punish people by putting them to death. But at the very same time, so I will retract that He doesn't want you. But He does, but He also knows that you're not going to, because He's rejected you. Okay? Hopefully that explains that better. So Jeremiah 5:20 through 25. In verse 20 it says, declare this in the house of Jacob, all right, that's Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people. There's another thing. We're also foolish. Our people are foolish. It says, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people hath a revolting and rebellious heart, they are revolted and gone. So it also talks about us being foolish without understanding, talks about us being revolting and rebellious, right? In verse 24 it says, neither say there in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our power, that giveth rain, both the former and in the latter, in His season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholding good things from you. And that's Jake. They don't ever fear the Lord until it's too late. That's just how it is. All this terrible thing, the terrible stuff going on in the world, and they still don't fear the Lord. They have no fear for the Lord. They don't care. They have no fear. They have no worry, right? And hey, man, the Lord's gonna pay him back for that, man. You're gonna learn fear. You are gonna learn fear, and it's not gonna be a good way either, Jake. All right. This is, let's go over to Deuteronomy. We're approaching the tail end of the lesson now. This is Deuteronomy 9, in verse 24, it says, "Ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you." So Jake has been rebellious since day one, man. Since day one, Jake's been rebellious and not listening, not heeding the words of the Lord. It's Jake, man. That's Jake. And if we go through it, we could probably find more scriptures, talking about rebellion, or stubbornness, Let's go see. Yeah, we got that one, saving that one for last. Let's see what we got here. We already got that one. Get or Psalms 81 and 11 through 12. It says, verse 11, "But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own hearts, lusts, and they walked in their own counsels." And you got to realize, Jake, these things that you're doing, your own heart's lusts, and the walks that you're doing, it's destroying you, man. It's destroying you. You fought and rebelled so hard against the Lord, so you could do your own thing, right? To go your own way, and you don't realize that the things that you're doing while you've gone away are actively destroying you, man. They're actively killing you. They're actively making you sick and polluting your who you are and your family and all of it, man. Gun violence and drugs and just lying and thievery and murder. It's just and robbery. And it's not just the so-called Negroes. It's the Latinos do it too, and the Gadites. The Native Americans. The Issacharites, the Gadites, the even Manasseh, Ephraim. They all of our people do it, man. All of Israel, all 12 tribes, they all do it. All of them. Okay. You got the Cubans out there with the whole, and the Brazilians, the whole cocaine and shit, and the cigar smoking in Cuba. It's all a thing, man. It's all a thing. And so every tribe has their own little flavor of wickedness. They got their own little unclean meal that they make and that they prepare, right? You got Judah with chitlins, all right, and all sorts of other things, and greens with ham hock in it. You got Issachar, all right, with chorizo and chicharrones and like pork skins. You got what else? Carnitas, all sorts of stuff. Really, a lot of shit with Issachar. There's more stuff with the Judah. All right, and I'm not too familiar with the other tribes' foods, but I know they have something. Okay, so and that's the state of our people. They got their own little flavor of wickedness. It's still the same, but it's their own little flavor. It's their own little Gadite twist, their own little Asher twist, their own little Manasseh twist, right? That they throw on it. Okay, and that's the state of all of our people. And then when you try to tell them that they're an Israelite and that they can't do those things, they won't listen to you, man. They don't want to listen. They don't want to hear. They don't want none of it. They don't want none of it. All right. So Psalms 8 and 11 once again through 12. "But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels." Okay, what does it mean to hearken? And it means to listen, but we'll get it anyway. Hearken. It's an archaic form of the word listen. Okay, they refuse to hearken to, right? And in this case, they are refusing to hearken to what? But verse 11, Psalms 81:11. "But my people would not hearken," not listen, right? "Not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me." So what did he do? Verse 12. "So I gave them up unto their own heart's lusts, and they walked in their own counsels." That's what the Lord did. All right, and now you're destroying yourselves, really, because you're doing all this awful stuff, and you think it's your culture, and it's not, man. It's not. So keep that in mind. Let's get 1 Samuel 15 and 23, and then we're gonna go ahead and close out. All right, so this is 1 Samuel 15 and 23. We're actually gonna probably get this in the Good News Translation because I'm curious. So it's 1 Samuel 15 and 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. You know, this is how you've lost, you know, good things for yourself. You know, this is how you've withhold, like the scripture says, have withholden good things from you. Your sins have withholden good things from you. Roughly paraphrasing. So let's get the New Life Version first. 1 Samuel 15:23. It says, "To go against what you are told is like the sin of witchcraft. Not to obey is like the sin of worshiping false gods. You have turned away from the word of the Lord, so he has turned away from you being king." He has turned away from you being king. Okay, let's go and get the New Living Translation. It says, "Rebellion is as sinful as witchcraft, and stubbornness as bad as worshiping idols. So because you have rejected the command of the Lord, he has rejected you as king." And finally, let's get the Good News Translation, and then we'll read it in King James one more time. Good News Translation: Rebellion against him is as bad as witchcraft, and arrogance is as sinful as idolatry. Because you rejected the Lord's command, he has rejected you as king. Heavy. Once again, the King James Version, 1 Samuel 15:23. "For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king." So a lot of the things, you've lost a lot of good things just because you're rebellion, Jake. Because you didn't want to listen, you didn't want to hearken unto the Lord. Okay? Think about it. Think about it. All these good things, you got to realize you could learn who you are. You could know the true name of the Lord. When you pray, your prayers would actually get answered. But, you could come back, you're all worried about, culture, my culture, my culture. You realize that you could have your culture, man. You would realize what it really is. You could have your culture. But, that's that rebellion and that's that stubbornness, man. You don't want to come back to it. You don't want to learn. You don't want to learn. So, hey, that's about all we can do, is just tell you, hey, what you're doing is wrong. And, hey, that's all through Spirit of Power, Yahweh Shemiah Shai. If you wake up, you wake up. It's not through any of our own doing. It's through Yahweh Shemiah Shai. So, hey, you're being rebellious, Jake, and we're known. That's not a good thing to be known for. The nation known for being rebellious and stubborn, that's not a good thing to be known for. Come on, Jake. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth to rule well. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Till next one, Lord willing. Shalom.